Wow. So this is what we are in July 12th. So we're almost halfway through July, which is a 31-day month. And it's some remarkable how fast time flies, right? We're already over half the year is done. And you're thinking, man, I was just trying to get ready to make this a really good year. And I was getting ready to get ready to get ready. And all of a sudden half the year's gone. It's kind of like half your life will be gone. And then pretty soon, your 3/4 of your life have been gone. If you measure the life expectancy, right? You ever I had a guy that I knew that he had one of these countdown clocks. So he set it at age 75 because I think if you look at life expectancy, and this is a guy, this is like maybe 10, 20 years ago, that from birth, the life expectancy for a man was like 75.6. Okay, and so it's one of these things where you measure life expectancy from, there's three scales, I guess. And if you look it up on Google, there's life expectancy from birth. So he had a countdown clock from birth of 75.6 or whatever. And then he's got this clock that he watches every day to kind of, he could die tomorrow, of course, but just by life expectancy, he sees his life kind of like sands in an hourglass, right? And you kind of look at life kind of diminishing, or your time diminishing. It made him think differently about his life. Like every minute mattered because he sees the sands through this countdown clock. He sees the minutes and the seconds going by. Like, how much time do I have left? And it's really crazy. And when you think about that, it's it's pretty nuts. The other thing too, perspective time. Okay, to finish the thought. So, but if you get to age 65, then your life expectancy from age 65 moves up to I think 85. So kind of like the older you get, the older you can get. Does that make sense? So so there's several different ways, not several different ways, but there is a scale that they measure life expectancy. But can you imagine living your life looking at an hourglass? Like if you had this digital hourglass that you see you only had so many grains of sand and it's starting to just keep going down, down, down. Wouldn't you think about your life differently? It's just kind of maybe with an urgency. And also an urgency, not so much even to get work done, but to get your relationships right, or to, get rid of grudges, because, grudges are so negative and it just pulls all kinds of stuff away from you, right? To have a grudge or have an unforgiving heart against somebody, how much that impacts you mentally and stress it puts in your heart, and how it can just really diminish your joy, right? And when you think about your life kind of expectancy and your sands of the hourglass diminishing, it's like, man, I don't got time for negative stuff. I don't got time for grudges. I don't have time for having anything against my brother or my sister, those unforgiven types of grudges. You guys know what I mean. When you harbor those, it just takes the joy out of your life. And, ultimately, we look for those moments of joy, when you spend time with your family, or when you see someone make a breakthrough in something that you're trying to help them with. It's like, dadgum, I had something to do with that, a little something to do with that. I mean, those are little joys in life. I look at the insurance business as the different joys in life when you can, that moment when you got someone covered, that made you feel real good because they didn't have coverage before, but you protected them against tragedy, the adverse aspects, the financial adverse aspects of tragedy to their loved ones, those little joys, those little moments of joy, and I think that when we look at our life as diminishing sands of time that kind of go through the hourglass, I think we think more urgently about maximizing the joy in our life and minimizing the grudges and all the other stuff, the unforgiveness, right? I don't know why I'm talking about this either. I think it was just trying to get more people on the call. But anyway, yeah, we're talking about the countdown clock. So, man, I hope you all had a good weekend of whatever you like to do, work, recreation, you know, if you work on the weekends, whatever the case may be. We saw that we went to the Dayton Air Show, man, and I don't know if you guys been on my Facebook, but tell you what, I am just so impressed when I see there's certain pride too, you know, because I was in the Air Force and watching these F-16 Thunderbirds just fly in formation. It just really gives you a sense of pride that, you know, our pilots are some of the best pilots in the world. You know, of course, they got to be some of the best pilots to be part of that Thunderbird team. But what's really cool about it is one of the solo pilots is a female pilot. She's a stud, man, studette. Major Michelle, what is her last name? She's number 5 pilot. She's a solo. She's one of the solos. She's the main solo pilot. And then you have the other opposing solo. And then you have the 4 that fly in, you know, their diamond formation. So any of you seen the Thunderbirds, you know, they're a kick butt squadron. And but she's particularly impressive. Number 1, she's a female that's doing all this. But she represents, you know, the United States Air Force very well, the Thunderbirds very well. And, you know, what they do is after they land, they march out of their aircraft. I mean, it's just such a professional team. And then they greet the audience. And I just love watching this female fighter pilot get swarmed by all these girls, all these little girls. And it's just the coolest thing, and boys too, you know, that look up to someone like that as a example of what they could be in life, you know, that they have a role model they can ascribe to, someone that they can look up to. And man, what a great role model, this female pilot. By the way, female pilots, they can handle G's better than men, right? So whoever said that men are the best fighter pilots, I don't subscribe to that at all, you know, because I think women could be better fighter pilots. But anyway, it was really cool seeing her and seeing all these young little people look up to her, you know, just was refreshing to see that. And of course, all the other Thunderbirds, you know, all the other male pilots, you got all their fanboys, you know, in front of them. And I think in this day and age that, you know, kids are starving for role models, like real role models. You know what I mean? You know, it's kind of like Charles Barkley said, man, I didn't sign up to be someone's role model, you know, and I like Charles Barkley, but in order to like get out of that responsibility of people looking up to you, right? And I don't really care if it is, you're a pro athlete. I think sometimes we got to think about ourselves as role models. We are role models to other people that look at us. Like, you know, if you believe the way I do, number 1, you're a role model because you're a believer, you know, that you believe in Christ and salvation. And then you look at, are you acting like it? Would you be convicted if there was a spy camera and a microphone on you 24/7? Can you be convicted of being a Christian, right? Could you be convicted of loving your brother? Or do you flip off the next guy that cuts you off, right, on the road, okay? Or do you treat your wife or your husband with the same Christian attitude you would as a guest in your house? Do you ever have that where you treat your guests better than your family? You know, it's just like ludicrous to me when you think about how you treat other people. You know, it's what you do behind closed doors that matters. And you are who you are really when no one's watching, right? And so to be your own role model, you know, for knowing that people are looking at you. So let's extend it out to being a role model for your agents. If you are hiring, are you a role model for the agents that you're hiring? You know, do you truly care about them, or do you truly care about the clients you're covering to show them that you're out there, you know, making a difference in other people's lives? You know, are you a role model to your own children? Like, do they see someone who's going after it with with everything that they have? You know, you hope that your kids will follow in a pathway of success, but when you are not following that same path and you're not doing what you're telling them to do, you know, I think that causes incongruity, and that causes a lot of consternation. You know, it's that you're not aligned. You're not aligned properly, because what you say and what you do are not aligned, and that causes stress and a bunch of negative for you as well. So you think about being a role model. Are you a role model? Are people regarding you in such a way that they can look up to you, or they can look at you as being someone who truly professes their Christian faith because of the way that they act and how they are around people? One thing that I know after being our praise and worship guitarist for, going on 20 years, is that I can't go out in public and because I have kids coming up to me all the time. I'm in Kroger's shopping, which I try not to do a whole lot. It's like they come up and say, "You're the guitar guy." Yes, I am the guitar guy. I am the guitar guy. And they, you know, it's funny how these kids, because they'll be sitting kind of where I'm playing. A lot of the kids like to sit, and a lot of parents like to bring their kids, because these kids, these are little tykes, are looking at me playing guitar, and they see the joy in my face. I think that's probably what they see, but they see me jamming. They're staring at me the whole mass, the whole service. I'm going, oh man, what pressure. They're just, you know, but maybe I'm inspiring them. So I can't go and act crazy in public because I'm the praise and worship guy. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, I represent the church because, you know, they see me in public, and I've become very aware of that, right? So getting back to the idea of being a role model, and, you know, people are watching you. You know, I'm watching you. Andy Albright's watching you. People are watching you. Don't assume no one's watching you. That's probably the biggest fallacy. And people, and not that you do things for other people's judgment. I'm not saying that, right? I think ultimately, it's, you know, it's your Father in heaven. Ultimately, his judgment on you is what counts. So act like it. Act like every moment of the day, he's watching you. He's wanting to bless you so abundantly. And that's the thing. You know, some of y'all think that he's out there to punish you. He's out there to bless you tremendously. The punishment is not receiving his blessings because of the stuff that you do it's like putting an umbrella on the blessings he's trying to pour on you, but it's through your negative attitudes and mindset and the way you treat other people that you don't accept those blessings. Does that make sense? Anyway, he's got so many blessings for you. He's a loving and caring God. So what are you doing? Are you receiving those graces by helping your neighbor out, by being the type of person that he'd want you to be? You know, so I think as we go through this week, you know, we do this on Monday so that we got the rest of the week to pour ourselves out to become the best version of ourselves, the best servants that we can be to our customers, our clients, the best servants we can be to our agents that we're recruiting and hiring, right? That we don't just look at them as income generators. Like I know some of y'all do. How much override has that guy made me? You know, caring enough about them to check in with them. Like the theme yesterday on my last video was being able to serve them and making them accountable. That's one of the biggest things that I've not done, is held you accountable to what you say you want, right? And little things like I might ask, hey, we need to get together and we need to chat. Hey, I need this, I need that, so we can figure out how I can help you. You know, all that stuff has bearing on how I can help you, right? And then my problem, again, going back to, is not enforcing accountability, right? Like I need to enforce accountability. I need to check up with you. It's like, hey man, so let's talk about your numbers, see where we need to fix things. You know, I got you those leads. So how are you doing on those leads? That's the part I just have not been doing. Again, holding you accountable because I care about you. I care about what you are, what you're doing. That whole accountability thing's huge. So I've made the commitment in prayer. See, when you make commitments when you're praying, that's where ultimately the accountability is. That I'm going to start holding you all accountable, so get ready. You don't think you like being treated like a person that needs to be accountable, then, we need to have that discussion too. Like, if you don't want, Alex, I'm independent, I can do whatever I want. Okay. Well, I'm glad we've got that taken care of. So now I'll never check in with you and I could give a squat about what you do. No, I don't. If you call me, I'll take your call. But look, I'm gonna be more now on the other side where let's check in every week. Let's see how we're doing. So that's my commitment to you, to become a better leader for you. Okay. We'll get to the leaderboard, I promise. So in the spirit of being accountable, in the spirit of really helping you, I will talk again about the function. You need to come to our family reunion event, the Thursday, Friday, it's not really Thursday, but it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the last weekend in July. People usually come in Thursday because there's a little thing Thursday night that's optional where you can sit in, listen to some leadership stuff. But everything starts off early Friday morning. So really you ought to come in Thursday. So it's really Thursday through Sunday, and we do Sunday till noon, and then you're released at noon. Okay, so I'd be remiss in my responsibilities of leading you by not emphasizing how important this opportunity is to get around the other people. So we do have a couple tickets that we can still get you at the old price because someone had wanted to commit to those, but we haven't really seen or communicated with them. So we might have those available for $2.99, I believe, 2 tickets. And then there's someone else that's, I think the tickets are now what? Is it $3.99 now? There's someone, Bruce, do you know?
Yes, like $3.99.
$3.99 now. And we have a spare ticket that someone has that wants to sell. And he paid, I think he paid $3.99 a couple years ago for it. It's still good that we can transfer it to someone. And he's, willing to take $50 off that. So you can get that one for cheaper. But anyway, so we can help you with maybe the ticket prices or whatever with some of these tickets that are being available, that are available.
I would encourage people if they can do it, come also for Thursday because they're gonna have a day of fun, tour of the facility and parking lot party. It's gonna be a fun time, and carriers are gonna be there, and it's gonna be we might even see more laser tag by Alex. So.
But yeah, so what Bruce says is true. I mean, if you come in Thursday, there's going to be a lot of fun that we're going to have. It's just a chill out day. You get to tour the Alliance facility down there and hang out and have fun. And, it's not one of these, stiff, nerdy type functions. Yeah, Tim, good stuff, Tim. Yeah, I'll tell you what, dude, I think since we haven't heard from her, we might go ahead and just let it go. But yeah, Tim's down with it, and I can't wait to meet you, dude. Like, okay, it'd be great to meet you too personally. To give you a hug, shake your hand, whatever. It would be good to just see you live. It would be good to see you live. But you have no idea what this function can do for you. You just really don't. It's one of those things where I wish I could hook up a port from my head to your head. Or we can do the Vulcan mind meld for you Star Trek fans, so you can see what I see, be inspired by what can inspire you. And when you think about times in your life when you've been inspired to do something, to change, inspired to change. It was always something outside of you that you received to change the way you think about stuff. Trust me, the road to success in anything in life begins with you changing how you think about stuff. The way you think about things is how you change your life. Changing here will change your path, will change your course. It's like this is a GPS up here, okay? Andy and I have been talking about this whole weight thing. He's just been fanatical about, my losing 30 pounds. And we've been talking about this book, Obesity Code. And I told him, dude, the first 3/4 of the book, the 75% of the book is debunking all the things we thought about weight loss. The calories in, calories out idea, how that concept doesn't work, right? And how, and all that sets up a framework of how you think about eating, how you think about food coming in, okay? And that's why I make the choices I make now, because I know and understand how food works and how, certain foods increase your insulin levels. And when you increase your insulin levels, your body, the sugar in your body gets stored into fat, right? This whole framework of how, now we understand how it all works. And the more insulin that you release in your body, the more insulin resistant you are, which causes you to put more insulin in your body when you eat, which causes more sugar to be turned into fat. It's, and then there's the set weight thing. He talks about the set weight, how that's a real thing and how you can change your set weight lower, but it has to be done over time. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but he is all about it. Like, he's reading this book and he's listening in audio. And man, we talked this morning. He called me this morning. We talked about business too, but like half our conversation was on this whole idea. And I told him this whole changing in your mindset. I said, dude, this is totally analogous to our business, right? Because when you change the way you think, you change what you do. Because now you have a basis to understand why you should act the way you should act, right? Like the way you think about money, the way you think about your relationships changes what you do. When you think about accountability to our Father in heaven, it changes how you treat other people, because he wouldn't want you to treat other people poorly. Whether it's your spouse, your brother or sister, he said, man, you got to carry your cross. Are you willing to carry your cross? Because joy in abundance awaits you if you're willing to carry your cross. Well, gang, man, part of carrying your cross is zipping it when you know what you want to say to someone, but you don't say it, you swallow it, because you're hurting someone's spirit, you're going to hurt someone, but you just want to do it anyway because it'll make you feel better. Anytime that I've lost my temper, I've always felt this weight, almost like demonic weight on me. And I got to go to confession, man, and confess that, because I have to get it off my chest, right? I have to get it out of me. I have to get that demon out of me, that I hurt someone. I hurt someone's spirit. I don't care if it's a customer service person on the phone, right? It's amazing how bold we are. We bitch about clients yelling at us on the phone, right? And we feel all bad about that, but then we do the same thing to other customer service people on the phone. We scream at them. We think they're just some voice on the other line when they're actually a child of God too. And we treat them poorly. It hurts our spirit because we're hurting their spirit. And then again, you're sticking the umbrella up because God wants to bless you with abundance, but you're treating his other children like crap. Am I making sense here? Do you see how everything that you're doing, you have to be accountable for, because the results of what you do make a difference, huge difference in your life. You have no idea. Again, how you think about what you do. Someone's always watching. He's always watching you, at least. And then I'm watching you because I see you tell me you want to make money, and then I look at a leaderboard, it's like, oh, well, I guess he or she doesn't, because I don't really see anything that they're doing to serve other people. Look, You got to worry. You don't got to worry about my income. Well, Alex, you're just worried about you making money. It's like, this is how I feed my family. But you know what? My retirement's set. I already know. My retirement's set. If I die tomorrow, my family, they're going to get millions. So I'm set there too. My life insurance is done. My retirement is done. $500,000 tax-free a year. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Andy Albright. See, I invested myself in the right thing at the right time, the right place. So am I worried about you not producing? I kind of am, not only but for you. I'm worried about you. I worry about, man, maybe I'm not helping them enough, right? So when you're not on the leaderboard, I can only surmise that, number one, you don't know what to do, which I can help you with. Or you know what to do, but you're not doing it, which I can help you with if we talk. Does that make sense? So I don't know which is worse, ignorance or willful ignorance. Which is worse? Knowing what you should do and you're not doing it, or just being ignorant of what to do. I can fix the first one, being ignorant. I can make you unignorant. And then it's, okay, let's track what you do every week. But those of you who are willfully ignorant, willfully like being like that, it's like, man, I don't, so all I can see is what you do, man. Don't tell me, don't talk, because it's what you do, right? Let your work tell me everything I need to know. And look, if you don't put numbers up, but you pounded the phone 300 dials and you did that work, man, I need to know that too. I want to know that. I want to know that you're making an effort. I can steer a car that's moving, but I cannot steer a parked car, right? So here we go. Okay, I mean, this long preamble to this leaderboard. And again, going back to, I only judge what you do. God only judges what you do. But the thing that he knows about is the intent in your heart. But what do they say? The best intent, what is it? The road to hell is paved by the best intentions. Is that right? It's kind of like three turtles on a fence post. A turtle didn't get there on its own, right? It needs help from other people. And I think that if you start thinking right about, getting your mind right, then we'll be talking more. We'll be working together more actively, okay? And you'll consider coming to the event, the family reunion event, because it will be where you will change your mindset about how you think. It's kind of like immersing yourself in that book, the Obesity Code, getting all of that scrunched into a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday till noon. You're going to get it in concentrated levels, like concentrated levels. Well, Alex, the only way I can get there is by putting it on a credit card, and my credit card's already got a lot on it. It's like, well, think about all the stuff you put on there. All the stuff you couldn't afford anyway that you put on that credit card. If there was anything worthy of putting on a credit card, I think this is credit card worthy. Because your return on investment will be huge. But all those other things that you put on a credit card, thinking that you're going to pay it back, all those material things, all those other things, what has that got for you except in debt and paying 18% interest? Man, you're going to get more of an 18% return on the investment of time. So is it worth putting on a credit card? You make that decision. But if it were me, okay, if it were me, I'd put on a credit card. In fact, I used to do stuff like that, put stuff on a credit card to go to functions. I sold guitars, I sold amps, I sold anything I had so I can get to a function. And I'm talking about when I was in the Amway business. Well, what did Amway get you? Well, it got me to Ruby, got me making $75,000, $80,000 a year. I brought 200 people to functions and it got me to making some money. But here's what it got me. It got me my mind right. My mind right about success, so that when the insurance business came, I was perfectly ready to rock the insurance business, okay? So anyway, again, I'm hammering the function because I just think you really need to be there, and I would be remiss in my responsibilities, right? It's kind of like saying, man, If you want to get to heaven, stop sinning. Stop sinning. You know, if you want to become successful in the business, start making the right decisions. Get your mind right. You get your mind right, you start making the right decisions. When you start making the right decisions, that means you start doing the right things. When you start doing the right things, man, you start learning, you start figuring this thing out. Your ratios start to get better and better when you're making sales. You start doing the things that the successful people are doing in the alliance, okay? So anyway, is there an optimal best airport to fly? Probably the cheapest, one of the cheapest is Raleigh-Durham, RDU, to fly into the function. However, there could be Greensboro, could be an option. GSO, I think it is could be an option. So you have to check between Greensboro. Is it Greensboro? Yeah, Greensboro or Raleigh-Durham. Typically it's Raleigh-Durham, but it could be Greensboro depending on what airline. I think Southwest goes into Greensboro Airport. But anyway, and so, okay. And look, it might be cheaper to take an Uber car instead of renting a car, you know, and we have enough people driving that I think we can figure out how to pick you up, okay? I'm not trying to commit myself, but I will help, but we've got other people driving in that can also help out, okay? So, yeah, I know. I'm having this conversation with Tim. He's private messaging me this stuff. Okay, so let's go to our leaderboard. I know this is a long preamble, but again, man, do you know that you're this far away? You're only really this far away. You think that your road to success is like this long journey when it's just this far away. Like I was talking to Andy, I go, dude, so now that I've lost like 30 pounds, I'm telling you what, my blood pressure medicine, I need to cut that dosage in half because I don't think I need, because I've been more lightheaded, right? Which means that my blood pressure medication is really working too well. And so I think that maybe my blood pressure is low and I need to at least drop my blood pressure down. And then I self-diagnosed sleep apnea. So I never went to a doctor, but I went ahead and just started using the CPAP machine, which helped my sleep. I don't think I even need that anymore. So there are little things in it. I think at 20 pounds, when I lost 20 pounds, so much improvement in so much aspect of my health that was apparent right away, like my knees and my back. I really have virtually no issues with that anymore, where when I was heavier, I'm still losing. But when I was heavier, I didn't know that it was only 20 pounds away. So like I was telling them, man, I had no idea it was that close. Like, I mean, you might think 20 pounds is a lot, but for me, that was a lot. Mentally, it's a lot. But when I crossed that threshold, I go, dude, I had no idea that it was just that far away. And other aspects of my health also improved. My circulation's improving. I can tell. It's crazy. But I didn't realize how much my health would improve. I didn't know it was only 20 pounds away. And then now that I'm 30, it's just going to improve more and more and more, right? Like walking around, like at the Dayton Air Show, there's a lot of walking involved because there's the static displays of all this aircraft. Oh man, it was so much fun. But I remember 2 years ago when we did it, because they didn't do it last year, it was like, man, I was having trouble walking all these, well, because I've been rucking, right? Rucking, no problem at all. Got to my car, it was just like, I feel good. See, it's just amazing. And here's my point. My point is that only that far away when you're on the road. It's not this big, long, hairy deal. It's a few little things that you have to change in order to get yourself going. Okay, but it takes a lot of energy to make that decision to just start going down that, but the results will come sooner than you think. Okay, That's really the point. You change your mindset, you change your actions, and it's only that far away. You have no idea. You really have no idea. You guys are so close. Some of y'all are so close and you have no idea that it's just a little bit more, a little bit more. And a lot of times that's why the function will change your mindset, is because it'll get your mind right, so you start doing the things and then the results start coming and they start snowballing. It's just a weird thing, man. If you talk to any top producer, it was when they were doing 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 a month, and then when they transitioned to 20,000, you won't see a typical like gradual, you know, it didn't start by going 10,000, then it was 12,000 next month, and 50. There's this leap, is what I've observed. There's this leap that goes boom. And you ask them, what was that leap? And they all have a story to tell. When they made the decision because of a Zoom call, a conference call that they listened to, or a function that they heard someone say something that changed this up here. It was a leap. It's amazing. You talk to any of the top ones, you ask them, well, tell me what your leap was. How did you change your mindset? Why you went from here to here? They all have the story.